So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to PPS Lab sessions. We have completed 41 programs till now from the given list of practicals, which was related to strings, right? Last set of programs that we have performed was related to string. String is nothing but a character array. Okay. Now, next set of programs that we want to go for today is related to functions now. So we'll see function related programs. After that, we will see pointer related programs, and then later on there will be structure. So starting from 42 up to 48, now this is a set of programs which covers function, recursion, pointer, and few other fundamentals like static variable and so on. Now, what I plan for today is we'll go for function and recursion related programs only. So today we will complete 4 programs. 42, which is a very basic function related program. Then 43, finding a given number is prime or not based on a function. Then 46, finding a factorial using recursion. And 48, converting a given string to uppercase using function. So these 4 programs will complete today in this lab session. That's the target. The remaining programs we'll see in the next upcoming lab session, where we will see what global static variable, and then how we can use static variable to use or to calculate this series. And we'll also see how pointer works, because if we just want to swap 2 numbers using function, then we need to use point program 2, 3. What is this? One or and then one you last one for your assignment. Coming back with it's that function. Okay. To n number, what will be जो है हम को कितने numbers का summation चाहिए. So we'll ask user to enter the n. Now let me show you this program, because this is where we are again going to have a look at basics of functions. So let's jump to the coding environment, and we are going to do the 40-second program. To add first n numbers, we need to define a function. So what we'll do is we'll start with, let's say we'll ask user to enter n, and we want that summation, so sum. So we need these 2 variables. So we simply declare those variables, and then we'll ask, and we'll go for user to enter the value of n. So we'll say that please enter n, right? And then let us scan that value, scanf %d, and we are going to take that value inside variable n. Now what we want is, we want to find a summation using function. Let's call it add n. Now that's the user defined function. Now somehow if that function returns me the final summation, then I can print the final answer. So total is %d and we'll print sum here. That's it, right? So what we do is we take value of n from user and then we call a user defined function. Now definitely we need to pass this n as a parameter. So let us pass that value n here. And that function is going to return me the summation final answer, and I will print that answer here. So what this is actually a function call. We call a function from this place. But as you all know, before you call a function, that function must be declared. So you can declare it locally or you can declare it globally. Now at present, let us go for function declaration at a global place. So I'm going to declare a global function at this place. Now, what is the syntax of function declaration? So it requires function type, that's nothing but a return type, then function name, and then into the bracket optional list of parameters, right, and the semicolon. So that's how we declare a function. So for us, function type or the return type will be integer, because what we want is we want to have sum final answer, and that sum is of integer type. So the function type or the return type will be integer space, then the function name that we have written here, add n, that's my function name, then parenthesis and semicolon. Optional list of parameters. Now do we need a parameter? Yes, हमें एक वैल्यू सेंड करनी है यहाँ पे. So we'll list that parameter data type here, int. So that's the function declaration. So this is function declaration, this is function call, and we need to define a function. So after main, generally we define all the functions. Function definition, right? So what that will contain? It will contain 2 points. One, a function header, and a second one is function body. Now function header is much similar to the function declaration, right? Function type, function name, parameters, but it will not have this semicolon at the end. And then the function body consists of curly brackets, and inside that executable statements. Inside our function body, task, logic, executable statement, whatever you call, we are going to define our function there. So this is the syntax of function definition. So let's do it. Function type is integer, function name is add n, into the bracket, parameters is integer n. Now look, this n is a formal parameter, this n is the actual parameter. It can be different name also. यहाँ पे हम x, y, z कुछ भी ले सकते हैं, doesn't matter. Okay, so that's function header. Then inside curly bracket, we are going to define our function body. And inside this body, we are actually going to make that sum. So what we want is, we need to have a sum variable, initialize it with 0, and then we are going to run a for loop. Now if you need for loop, you will require loop control variable I. So let's take I also. So I equals to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Now at this point of time, we are not going to add 0 here. So what we'll do is we'll start I equals to 1, and we want to cover this n, first n numbers. So we need to go up to n. So less than equals to n, and then I plus plus. And the logic is going to be sum plus equals to I. That's it. And then we return sum from this function. So प्लस इक्वल्स टू यूज करना था, शॉर्ट हैंड यूज करना था, इस वजह से सम को 0 से इनिशियलाइज किया. then we do the summation and finally we return that sum. तो वो sum यहाँ पे आएगा and we will print it. So that's it. That's all about basics of functions. Let's run this and let us test it. So if I say 5, then total is going to be 15, and that's correct, right? So this one is the first program, just to make ourselves familiarized with user-defined functions. Okay. So let me have a look at the query if you do have any. Well, Deepak and Vishal are saying voice is breaking. How about others? Because I'm at a campus right now, taking this lab session from the lab premises itself. So I don't think there is any problem at my end or internet. Any other query? Okay, fine. Well, so that was the 42nd program, a very basics of functions. Now, if you know what is function, if you know how to declare, define, and call the function, then definitely you'll be able to complete all the rest of the programs related to functions. So let's discuss 43rd program. It says write a function in a program to return 1. Okay. Now, अब आपको क्या करना है? Based on some condition, you have to return 1 or you have to return 0. So, जहाँ पे मैंने return sum किया, वहाँ पे आप return 1 या तो फिर return 0 करोगे. Now, based on what condition? So, it says you return 1 if number is prime, otherwise you return 0. Well, prime number check करने का code हमने already लिखा था. So let's look at that code. Your 24th program was the same one, to check whether the given number is prime or not. So हमने क्या किया? We take one number from user and then we write this logic. This entire logic is to define whether the given number is prime or not. तो आप क्या करोगे? You'll take one number and then you are going to call a function. एक function बनाओगे और उसमें ये number पास कर दोगे. अब उस function के अंदर आप क्या करोगे? You are going to cut this code and paste it within your function. तो ये पूरा logic जो है वो क्या हो गया? To define whether the given number is prime or not. Now within that function, आप ये message print नहीं करोगे, right? You are not going to print this message within the function. From the function, you are going to return 1 or return 0. So if given number is prime, तो ये printf की जगह पे आपको return 1 लिखना है, else return 0 लिखना है. That's it. So that return value आपके पास main में वापस आ जाएगी, just like we receive it in sum, and then we print that sum. तो वहाँ पे आप return 1 या तो फिर return 0 होगा, उसको आप print करोगे. And exactly if you want that message, तो वहाँ पे again if else लिख सकते हो. जो भी value return होती है, if that return value is 1, तो वो prime है, else not prime है. Okay? So that's how you can complete this 43rd program. Take a number, pass that number, write a logic of defining whether the given number is prime or not, return 1 or 0. That 1 or 0 will be here, and then you can print your message. So that's 43rd program. Okay. Going back to the list, Next, we want to have a look at is the 46th program, which says write a program to find factorial of a number using recursion. Now, we have done this program in the lecture part. Using recursion, we have searched the factorial. We have calculated the factorial. So this was the code. We take a number from user and we call a factorial. We pass that number because we want to calculate n factorial here. Inside that function, we are going to recurse it. So n equals to 1 is your base case. Otherwise, you are going to recurse it. And the recursive case is n multiplied by fact of n minus 1. So that's the recursion. And finally, we return the answer. That answer will come here, and we simply print that factorial number. So this one is the calculation of factorial using recursion. 46th program. And then the fourth and last one that we want to have a look at is 48th program, which says write a function. Again, आपको एक function बनाना है, which will scan a character string. ठीक है, एक string आप user के पास से लोगे, उस string को आप function में pass कर दोगे as a parameter. Okay? String passed, यहाँ पे बोला हुआ है, string passed as the argument. So you take one string from user and pass that string as an argument, as a parameter to the function. अब वो function क्या करेगा? It will convert all lowercase character into uppercase equivalents. Well, lowercase to uppercase program हमने किया हुआ है. 41. Convert your string to uppercase. So you have your logic ready. You have your logic ready with you. You take one string from user, Lelia, then you cut this code and paste it inside a function. So let me show you very quickly. So we take one string from user, Lelia, then this code we are going to write somewhere in the function. So let's call this function. If I call it upper, then this is my function call. And before I call my function, let me declare or let me directly define it. अगर मैं directly define करता हूँ, तो declaration की ज़रूरत नहीं है. So I don't want to return anything. So I'll have void. Upper is my function name, and then the body. Now what we do is user से जो string लेंगे, वो string as a parameter pass करेंगे हम यहाँ पे. So we have to catch that parameter here, character, str, और अगर वो array है, then empty square brackets. Now when we pass array to a function, it is actually called by reference. So within this function, जो भी आप code लिखोगे, it is going to affect your original string. So हम यहाँ पे वही code को paste कर देंगे जो हमने नीचे लिखा था. Now we need loop control variable I. So let's declare I here. So integer I equals to 0. str of I not equals to null, I plus plus. हम क्या करेंगे? Convert to uppercase. And then done. Look, as long as ये parameter called by reference था, आपने जो कुछ भी change किया वो original में change हुआ. So we need not to return anything. आप वापस आके string को print करोगे तो वो upper case में होगा. That's it. So if I save this code and run it, let me give university as a lowercase, then it is going to print that in uppercase here. As simple as that, right? So that's the fourth program that I wanted to discuss here. We discussed all four programs, and now it's your turn. You have to do it one by one. 41, 42, 46, and 48. Just complete these four programs today, and we are done for this session. Yeah. So very quickly post your enrollment numbers so that your attendance will be recorded. Then I'll stop this recording. We don't want unnecessary recording here. You may move forward and perform these practicals one by one. If you are done with these practicals, you may also write it in a page so that later on you can submit that in Google Classroom. And by that time, if you have any query, you may ask. Yeah, Vyom, it was 41, 42, 46, and 48. If you have any query, you may ask. Make sure that you have posted your enrollment number in the chat box so that your attendance is recorded. And then you may start performing these 4 programs one by one. One last call for enrollment numbers. Then I'm going to stop this recording. Okay, so I'm going to stop this recording now. You may continue with your work.